Why don't you kind of give me a background of you? I know you're an Iowa farm boy.
Yeah, let me give you a little background, give my Iowa lineage. Born and raised in Dubuque. Went to Waller High School, ended up at Iowa State my first couple years, and then graduated from the University of Iowa in 1981. Didn't grow up on the farm, but my mom's entire side of the family is all farming. My wife, for the last 26 years, her family's all farming background. She grew up on a farm near Sigourney, Iowa, and so I've got a lot of farm in my blood and a lot of time on the farm as a kid working, and mainly with again my mom's side of the family, helping them. So I feel a little bit like I'm somewhat competent in this language of talking about agriculture, and so we should have a good discussion.
I guess you've been to some of the farms around there. Tell me kind of what the atmosphere is for the agriculture community in Iraq.
Yeah, let me give you, I guess, open up, maybe give you a little sense of what the agricultural base here is inside of Iraq. They grow a variety of crops. Wheat, rice, and corn are the predominant crops, along with barley, sunflower, and then they've got the vegetable crop, potatoes and tomatoes and so forth. But a large crop of also called date palms. Dates have been grown here historically for generations, thousands of years, and that is a large agricultural product here as well. About 30 million acres, which represents about 27% of all of Iraq's land mass can be cultivated. That land, though, today, as you fly over it, you can see the potential of what it had once been, in the sense that it's clearly been segmented off into small farm parcels. The land had been worked. There was certainly lots of activity in the past, but unfortunately, both the lack of investment by the Saddam era, as well as, of course, 10 years since 1990, well, I'm sorry, more than that, from 15 years since the first Gulf War, and then, of course, the last 5 years have really crippled the agricultural industry. Last Thursday, I had a chance to go up to Taiji, T-A-I-J-I, Iraq. That's north of Baghdad. It's a beginning of a solid farm belt that stretches really between the two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, known as the land between the two rivers. It is a very rich piece of land, acreage of land, in which the bulk of all the real agricultural takes place. So if you look on a map of Iraq, you can obviously see that. The rest of the western side of Iraq is barren desert. And as you get further north, you're into significant mountain ranges and so forth. So Iraq relies on the center of its country to support the agricultural base. And the one thing that you should understand about Iraq's agriculture and its dependency on water, they don't drill for water here. They can drill for oil, and that makes a lot of money for them, but there's no drilling for water here. All the water must be naturally fed through rivers, man-made canals, and pumps. And so all the irrigation of the fields themselves require, and you can't rely on rain to take care of it, because there's just so little of that as well. The water that moves down from the north, used over the generations in these canal systems that have been built right up to the point of a farm owner's land, in which then he pumps off of that canal into irrigated trenches into his fields, relies heavily on electricity, of course. And electricity has been greatly affected by, again, the lack of investment the last 30 years by Saddam, and certainly, again, the last 5 years of war. So farmers are hurting at the most basic level, which is water. And the further south you go, the more difficult it is, because what water does get fed down these canal areas are being often stolen, if you will, by illegal tapping of the canals, as well as the fact that the canal systems themselves have been overgrown. I think we'll hopefully maybe have a picture of one of those canals here coming up here, but the picture you're seeing on the screen right now is of the sheikh of a major area near Taiji. He is a farmer of multiple generations. He's currently the only boy that remains in his family of 3 boys, obviously 3 brothers. His other 2 brothers were killed by Al-Qaeda in the last few years. He has 9 children of his own, and he lives on this piece of property and has all of his life. And he showed us his wheat production, which we'll show you in a second. and very proud of that fact. But when you step back and realize he has no equipment, when he turns the soil, he's doing it through renting equipment to do that. When it comes to planting the seed, he's doing it by hand. And when they harvest the crop, it's again renting harvesting equipment to do that. Here you see us walking ahead. This is the wheat field, probably several dozen acres. Again, hand planted, a very good-looking crop, weed-free. But you can tell that the density of plants here is not something you would recommend. Again, because you're sowing it by hand, it's very irregular. But it is how they do it. It's how they've always done it. I guess before I lose the train of thought on that, what's interesting about farming here is if you think maybe back in the 40s or 50s, how farming was done by our farmers back in Iowa. They weren't relying on a lot of technology, a lot of heavy equipment. It was basic, simple farming, and that's essentially where these people are at. So the starting point for, I guess, the discussion is realizing we're not talking about a modern agricultural society that simply has been affected by war.
Right.
We're really talking about a very simplistic agricultural society that relied on labor, hard work, and again water that was fed to them through canal systems, and the access to that water was available to them, as was under the Saddam era. Seed was given to them, fertilizer was given to them, and all those systems of delivery and the things they relied on in the past are all essentially gone now. So you're starting an economy-based agricultural system from the ground up. And they're getting lots of help from agencies like U.S. agricultural folks who are here, as well as other agriculture-related non-government organizations, extension services from various universities and so forth, are in Iraq to just, again, help them begin laying the groundwork for a brighter future as farmers.